the text and all that and the mouse, so you just bear with me. But that way you can, I'll get shortcuts. I had somebody ask me about the shortcuts. Actually, I've had two people ask me about the shortcuts, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to make sure everybody knows their algebra before we start Thursday and Friday. So let's just look at them right quick again, and we'll go from there. The first one, shortcut number 1. I hope I can do this. You'll just have to use the caret symbol. Parentheses. A plus B quantity squared is equal to, this thing is really getting on my nerves, is equal to, I'm sorry, I'm having to type and I'm not a good typer, A squared plus 2AB plus B squared. Okay? And the same thing for the second one, only there's a sign change. A minus B quantity squared is equal to A squared minus 2AB plus B squared. The third one you see a lot of is A squared minus B squared, which is equal to A plus B times A minus B. Never typed these before, so it's kind of frustrating. Fourth one is A plus B to the third power, which we don't see this a lot. You might see it a little bit, but not a lot. A plus B to the third power is equal to A plus B times A squared minus AB plus B squared. And 5 is the opposite. A minus B quantity cubed is equal to A minus B times A squared plus AB plus B squared. Okay. Oh, that's supposed to be A cubed plus B cubed. I'm sorry, I messed up. Let me turn this off. That's supposed to be A cubed plus B cubed. And this is supposed to be A cubed minus B cubed. There's your shortcuts. So again, the way that you use them, you can go either way. If you go this way, it's factoring. If you go this way, it's multiplication. If you go this way, it's multiplication. If you go this way, it's factoring. These three are a little bit different. It's backwards. Okay, hold on. With these two, if you go this way, it's factoring. Okay? If you go this way, it's multiplying. But it's backwards with these three. If you go this way, it's multiplying. If you go this way, it's factoring. So, to give you an example, if I give you x plus 2 quantity squared, you go through and you find out which one it looks like. Okay, looks like number 1 right here. So that means this is A, and this is what? B, and you plug it in to this side right here. So that gives you x squared plus 2 times 2 is 4, 4x, and 2 squared is what? Plus 4. And then you can go the opposite way. But if you go the opposite way, you got to test it before such x squared plus 6x plus 9. All right, again, it looks like number 1 right here, but you got to test it. Take the square root of the first term, take the square root of the last term, and multiply it by 2 to see if you get the middle term. What's the square root of x squared? X. What's the square root of 9? 3. What's 2 times 3 times x? 6x. So it is shortcut number 1. And then you rewrite it. That's A. And that's B. And then that's going to be x plus 3 quantity squared. And that's how you do the shortcuts. All right, does that help? All right, something else that we need to discuss. Somebody asked me via email, rationalizing. Okay, some of you are a little bit rusty on that. So let's go back to rationalizing. Rationalizing is using the conjugate. And the conjugate, I don't have to do all this. I don't know how to spell it, but I'll do the best I can. Rationalizing, I'm just going to say rationalizing because sometimes they want you to do the numerator or the denominator. Rationalizing, getting rid of the radical by using multiples of the radical or using the conjugate. I guess that's right. Okay? Conjugate. The conjugate is the opposite operation. The conjugate of A plus B is what? A minus B. Now don't put equal sign there. Put a yield sign. Oops, that's not an arrowhead. That sucked. There. Okay. A plus B, the conjugate of A plus B is A minus B. That really is bad. Really? What'd you say? I know. I should have done that. It really sucks, so I'm going to take that off. All right. So, I'm going to give you 2 radicals in the denominator, and I want you, I can't even do that, to do it. The first one, I'm going to give you, I don't know, x over, no, not x, just 5. 5 over the square root of x. Okay, that's pretty simple. So this one we're going to use the multiple of the radical, meaning that we're going to clear the radical by multiplying it by another radical. So I'm going to multiply by the square root of x over the square root of x. And that's going to give me 5 square root of x over x. Now, what if I gave you a cube root? Well, let's try it. How about x over the cube root of 4? Wah, wah, wah. What's wrong? Multiply by the cube root of 16 over the cube root of 16. Hubert, where'd you get the cube root of 16? What's your first cube root? Well, you could do cube root of 2. You could do cube root of 2. What's your first cube root? Well, you got to know your cube roots. Cube root of 1 is 1. Cube root of 8 is 2. Cube root of 27 is 3. Cube root of 64 is 4. You could use cube root of 16, or you could use the cube root of 2. Multiply by the cube root of 2 over the cube root of 2. And what will that give you on the bottom? That's interaction. I'm asking y'all, not rhetorical. Cube root of 8, which is 2. Now see, that question right there, a lot of people miss because they multiply by the cube root of 4. Cube root of 4 over the cube root of 4. So this question, the answer is x times the cube root of 2 over 2. Now let's move on to the conjugate. How about something simple? 4 over the cube root of x minus the square root of x minus the square root of 2. That could also be the square root of x minus 2 under the radical. Either one, you could break it up. Use the conjugate.
We're not doing this as a limit, right? We're just...
No.
Okay.
Okay, so what's the conjugate of the square root of x minus the square root of 2? Square root of x plus square root of 2. Square root of x plus square root of 2. And what does the conjugate give you in the denominator? Shortcut number 3, which means basically you're going to cancel, and you're going to get x minus 2 on the bottom because the squares cancel the radical. And then you're going to get 4 times square root of x plus square root of 2. Capiche? Now, the only other question I had yesterday was, and then we'll get to a few homework questions that I got, was complex rational expressions. Just a little bit of a review. 1 over x plus 1 plus 3 over x plus 4 over 7 over x minus 2. Now I want you to simplify that expression. Okay, so does the denominators have anything in common? No, so therefore you just mash them together. X plus 1 times x plus 4 times x minus 2 over 1. Oh, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to put a baby step in there. So I'm going to rewrite my black parts. I'm going to rewrite them 1 over x plus 1. I'm going to leave a big space here so I can put this thing right there. Plus 3 over x plus 4 okay, and put that there. All over 7 over x minus 2 there. And what cancels? Well, the x plus 1 cancels, and that leaves you with 1 times all of this. The x plus 4 cancels, and that leaves you with 3 times all of this. The x minus 2 cancels, and that leaves you with 7 times all of this. Okay, now finish it. All you got to do now is just some Algebra 1 distributive law and see if anything cancels out, and simplify. So that's 1 times x plus 4, x minus 2. Use your FOIL method. And that's going to give you x squared plus 2x minus 8. Somebody check me. X squared plus 2x plus 8 and minus 8. Check my algebra there. Plus 3 times x squared minus x minus 2 over 7 times x squared plus 5x plus 4. I'm letting y'all check me, so make sure I didn't make a mistake. So that's going to give you x squared plus 2x. Nobody said anything, so I guess they're right. Minus 8 plus 3x squared minus 3x minus 6 over 7x squared plus 35x plus 28. And x squared plus 3x squared is 4x squared. Two x minus 3x is negative x. And negative 8 minus 6 is negative 14. Over 7x squared plus 35x plus 28. Now the only other thing I would tell you there is those may be factorable. I don't think the first one is, but you could try it, but I don't think they're factorable. You can try to factor them and see if something cancels out, but I don't think they are. And that's how you do complex rational expressions. Excuse me. Okay? Any other questions on anything that I've covered? I've got these homework questions. Anybody got any other questions on anything that you want me to go over? Speak now, forever hold your peace. Anybody got anything that seems a little bit confusing to them? Okay, those 3 people that sent these in, I hope that helps. All right, now the homework questions that I have. Here's one. Has everybody got this? Okay. 2 to the 5 minus x You sure this was 2 to the 5 minus x is equal to 15?
That's what it said on the
Okay.
I remember this. There's one that was like equal to 18.
Yeah, 18 looks better. 18, no, 16. Yeah, 18 would be better. I don't know what section it is. It's the logarithmic section. What is that? 1.9, I think? Something like that. Now, And I forgot on the logarithm, let me go back a little bit. Hold on a second. You don't have to write that down. That's no big deal. Let me go to pull up the definition of a logarithm, which I thought was on that property sheet, and it may be, I don't know. But this one you do by properties of logarithms. By the definition of a logarithm, sorry. Definition of log. Images. And I don't like that one because that's confusing. This one's good. Okay, I wanted to blow it up. Why can't I blow it up? Okay, hold on. I don't know if this one was on there, but if it's not, this is called definition of a logarithm. And I'll pull it up in your handy dandy whiteboard. Be patient with me. There, write that down. Log base A of y is equal to x. You can rewrite that as y is equal to a to the x. All right? So the best way to remember this, log, don't throw pencils down. I know you're angry, but don't. Log base A of y is equal to x gives us, and it go both ways, y is equal to a to the x. And basically, that's where we get that a logarithm is nothing but a glorified exponent. You can rewrite an exponent as a logarithm or a logarithm as an exponent. So if you want to get down to bare tacks, a logarithm is nothing but an exponent. Now, let's go ahead and which one do we have? Well, that's pretty simple. Since we don't have a log in the sentence, we know it's either the left or the right-hand side. But since we don't have a log in the sentence, then we know it's what? It's this side right here. So put it in that form. Well, y is equal to a to the what? X. So what's what? Y is equal to what? Y is equal to 15. A is equal to 2. And x is equal to parentheses 5 minus x. Now the reason I put parentheses around it is just so you can see that this is equal to this term right here, not just that x is equal to this x right here. I don't want you to get confused. So now what do you think we're going to do with these three things right here? If we have established that we've got this side right here, what do you think we're going to do with it? Plug it into this side right here. And then you can be able to start to calculate it. So let's do that and see if we run into a dead end. So y, or log base 2 of 15 is equal to 5 minus x. Now just solve for x. There's only one little problem, and I'll let y'all solve for x, and then we'll figure out what the one little problem is. Well, I don't like negative variables, so I'm going to move that negative x where? I'm going to move it to the left-hand side. That's going to give me x plus log base 2 of 15 is equal to 5. Now, of course, you could have done it in 2 steps, 2 or 3 steps, but I did it in 1 step. Okay, now what do we do? Well, how do you get rid of plus logarithm? Minus. So x is equal to 5 minus log base 2 of 15. Now, what's the log glitch? Negative can be in front of a log. That's not rhetorical. I'm asking for interaction.
Is it because it's base 2 and not 10?
That's it. You can't put it in a calculator because your calculator don't know how to do log base 2. So what do? Quit? Yep, that's the easiest thing to do. What do? Change base formula, which should be the log of 15 over the log of 2. So your final answer to calculate in a calculator is 5 minus parentheses log of 15, which is log base 10 calculator, over log of 2.
The log, I never did anything on this in high school.
Didn't?
What do you log is log base?
You got it already.
This right here, log base 2 is just a way of writing this up here. Okay, the original problem, where is it?
But like on the calculator,
Right here.
it's automatically 10, right?
Yes, log on the calculator is log base 10. So if you're ever given log base star, you got to change it, or log base whatever. You got to change it to either log base 10, which is log, or log base e, which is natural log, which is on there. It's ln.
Yeah, but what's natural log?
Natural log is just another way to write log.
Okay.
And the reason we use natural logs, and it's real deep, we don't have to get in it here. I just need you to be able to find an equation using a log, and you do use it in marketing and in business, but it's on up there. It's on up there. Okay. The reason they're teaching it in this class is when you see the derivative of it, you won't freak out, or you see a log, you won't do exactly like you're doing. I've never seen it before. You don't want that in your calculus class or your next one. Okay. Now, somebody do that, you're gonna get an answer, whatever the decimal is. I don't care. Okay, that's fine. Is that what did they want in the book, or what did they want in the homework? Do you remember?
They want it
I think
like
it was
that.
They want it like that.
Yeah. They don't
Okay.
want it like that.
Okay, then you don't have to calculate it. You can just leave it like that. Yeah, you're going to get, well, I don't know what this is, but 5 minus parentheses, and then you type in log of 15 divided by the log of 2, close parentheses, and whatever that spits out, that's your answer. But you need to put this in parentheses, or do it separately, one of the two. All right, next with log is log base 10, and if it's not there, if you just see log, then it's assumed to be log base 10. It's kind of like the square root on the 2 in front. It's not there. Well, if you see just log, that means it's log base 10. That's why I'm writing it this way. Of 5x plus 7 is equal to 1. All right, now this time you've got the log, so you're going the other direction. Oops, that's wrong. Pictures. There we go. Wrong. So my y is what? Good. 5x plus 7 equals what? Which is 10. Now, I'm not mistaken, but I think everybody can do that problem. Minus 7, 5x is equal to 3. 3/5 is your answer. Now, this is a prime example of a problem that's very intimidating, but what? Turns out to be very basic. Okay, here's a third problem. This is not logarithm. This is interest rate or interest, whatever it comes out of. All right, you want number 2, right? Number 2 is the one.
Yeah,
Okay.
it gives a number and then it gave 2 rates. And
Okay.
then it said to calculate.
Okay, let me switch over to WebAssign. I'm just gonna, what's your last name?
Bowers.
Bowers. I'm gonna see if I can do this. Bowers. It's the logarithm, I meant the exponential, right?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. You go to responses. I think it'll let me do it.
That one, number 6.
Number 6. All right, write number 6 down. Two and 5 years. They want you to compare. So technically, there's like 4 problems there. What I would suggest do is just do the simple interest. I meant the compound and continuously. Do both compound continuously and compound semi-annually. Basically, just do those 2 times for the first one and 2 times for the second one, and 2 and 5 years, and then compare them.
I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
So the APY in the book, it gives a description of the APY and how to use the formula.
Mhm.
So you got it.
That's all you got to do is just plug it in to find your annual percentage year and compare them. I think it's 1 plus r over n raised to the n power minus 1 or something like that. It's something like that. I'll put it on the board here in just a minute. Yeah, 1 plus r over n raised to the n power minus 1. And we'll put that on the board when we get to it. But the first thing you need to do is when you see this problem, just go straight to the 2 formulas that I gave you. Remember they were in blue that day? And do them. You don't need to worry too much about all that other stuff. I'm not too keen on the annual percentage yield. That's something that you accounting people, y'all can have at it. But I'm wanting to see if you can compare the 2 by dollar wise. I want to see that also. That's what I want to see. So I'll put this, let me just snip it out and let me see how long it is. How long is it, that blame thing? Good gracious. Let me just snip it out and I'll put it in the because sometimes these books can draw things out and you don't know what you're doing, even if you know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Hubert. No, Hubert. Yeah, thank you. It's always nice to have an interactive class. Makes class go by a whole lot faster. Yeah, I think so too, Hubert. Appreciate the interaction. Thank you. All right, there's our question. And I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. Move it over a little bit. So, A is equal to P times 1 over, or 1 plus R over N raised to the NT power. I'm going from memory, so y'all check me, make sure that's right. That's your compounded interest. And the difference in it and the continuous, y'all have to help me, I think it's P E to the R times T, right? Okay, so here's A is equal to P R E. I'm sorry, PE to the RT, I think, something like that. PE to the RT. Okay, so let's take, for instance, no sneezing in class, please. 2.725 compounded semi-annually. Take that semi-annually out and put N is equal to what? 2. And there is your P. So I'm going to pull up my handy dandy calculator. If I can get to it eventually. Oh, man, will you go away? I think it's right here. There we go. And move this up. And that's not going to work either. Give me a second. Move this over. Things I do for y'all. Up. There we go. Move that out of the way. So we take 0.12.002725, 0.0725, can't see, divided by 2 equals plus 1 equals, and then raise that, NT will be 2 times, let's see, what, 2 years, be 4, and then multiply that by 1,500. Okay, write that down. That's 1583.44. All right, write that down, but you got to write it down compounded semi-annually for 2 years. Okay? Now let's go back and do the other one for 5 years. I think the only thing that will change is that right there. Right? Be 5 times what? 5 times 2 is 10. So we could take, actually we could take that one right there, 1.01 right here. Can we use that? So 1.01, I suck at typing, 3625, and we're going to raise that to the 10th power and multiply that by 1,500. And that's equal to 1717.37. So you need to write that down. That's compounded semi-annually for 5 years. What the heck is that? It's a dot. Oh well, things are falling from the sky.
The only thing I have difficulty with on this one is calculating the annual percentage yield. There is no time for that, and just like
Yeah, the T is big too. T
no,
is always.
for A, not B. B, you just plug it in the formula, but for A, getting the percentage yield, there's no time frame.
Oh, well, when you're gonna use for part B, the option B, you're gonna use the second formula that you wrote, but basically ignore the P. It'd be E times the percentage rate times 1.
Okay.
And then subtract 1.
I'm trying to figure out what your question is.
For A on the
They got A's and B's all over the place.
right there, yeah.
I mean, you got option A, and then they got part A. I'm sorry. Well, that's what I was fixing to do, is to put compounded continuously. That would be 1500 e to the 0.02675 times 2, right? And then times 5. All right. Now, the formula for your, y'all check me, for your annual percentage, what is it called? Annual percentage yield? Annual percentage yield is equal to, I believe it's 1 plus R over N raised to the N power, somebody check me, minus 1. Is that it?
Yes.
So you need to plug the same numbers that you plugged in for these, you need to plug it in for this also. But we'll get to that in just a minute. So P is 1500 e to the 0.2675. Yeah, 0.02675. Y'all check me. And that's about, these are accurate. That's about how much the banks are paying for you to save your money. It used to be like 8 and 9%. So take your handy dandy calculator and go 1500 times second E, parentheses, 0.02675 times, and help me out, 2, right? And enter. I got 1582.44. So write that down as continuously at 2 years. And then hit second entry and go back and change. Let's see, I think we can change it, right? We can just change this to times 5, right? I'm trying to read the question and do it at the same time. I'm looking to see PE. Yeah. And that's 1714.66. So now you can compare those 4. And the APY would be on this one, on the first one. Now, I think I'm reading this right. Option A, you would type in 1 plus 0.02725 divided by 2 raised to the second power minus 1. And then you would put in 5 and then do it and see which one is better. So let's do that. So I'm just going to go here and I'm going to go 0.02725, 0.02725 divided by 2 equals plus 1 equals raised to the what? Second power? And then subtract that from 1, or subtract 1 from that. So you got a 2.7% there. So write that down. Oh, there it is right there. Sorry. 2.745. Oh, 2.744. And then do the same thing with 0.02. That's aggravating percentages. 725 divided by 5 equals plus 1 equals raised to the 5th power equals minus 1, and that's 2.755. Did I do something wrong?
Option B is supposed to be compounded continuously.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was doing it at 2 and 5. I'm sorry. Hold on. Is the question confusing? Yes, it is. But the way they worded it. Basically, plug and chug. What they're saying is option A and option B continuously. So option B, you would put in R would be 0.02675 over N, and N would be what? 2? I guess you're comparing them both at 2 years. And is that what you're saying? Is that what it's asking?
I think when you're compounding continuously, you're gonna use the formula A equals PE to the RT. The T would be 1, ignore the P. We're just doing E to the RT. And then
For the annual percentage yield?
for the second one, not the first one,
For the annual percentage yield.
for compounding continuously.
Well, I thought we already did that right here. Did we do those?
Well, you were plugging,
Because I'm confused to what you're saying, because the annual percentage yield should be this formula right here.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. It took me a long time to figure it out, but that's what I ended up doing. And I got the right number. Maybe I just got lucky.
I don't know this.
But it would make sense that you would use the compounding continuously.
Well, they don't even cover that in the book.
No, yeah, I did. Like I said, it took me forever to
Here you go. Thank you.
figure it out. Yeah.
Next question, so what's the formula, APY again?
This is APY right here, but I'm not coming out with the right answer.
What's it called though?
Annual percentage yield. Do y'all have a book? I mean, honestly, y'all don't. Okay, because I think it's on page 60. It's not a very good book anyway, so I found a problem in the book the other day that was wrong. I had 2 teachers check it out. So
If it's compounded continuously, is it gonna be compounded like, for semi-annually, it's gonna be twice a year? Is it gonna be once every month, so will the number be 12?
no, N is 2 for semi-annually. N is going to be 2.
No, not for semi-annually, for continuously. What's the number?
Continuously, there isn't a number, is it?
I don't.
Then how do you solve?
Okay, the question is reading. You got. Here's your R's right here. Okay, and here is your. Where are they? There's your T's right there.
Now, for the annual percentage yield, when we're doing it for the compounded continuous.
I don't. I assumed you were doing it for 2 and 5 years.
This says 2 and 5 years. Just put.
Yeah. I mean, I really don't understand the question, because it looks like to me that I did what I was supposed to do. And I got, what was my answer? I got 2.755, and they got 2.711. And I don't understand how they got it.
I think it's the compound, the yield for continuously.
Well, there must be another formula that I don't.
The first one's right. For option A, the percentage yield is right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the second one is like,
unless there's another formula that I can't find.
Whenever you did, I did the same formula that we did for the first one, but I did 5 for n, and it almost gave me the second answer for option B.
Well, then what's the heck and what's the why are they giving us n is equal to 2 and n is equal to 5? I'm just asking. I mean, I don't know. I'll have to ask the 130 guru. I meant the one. Is this 130 guru and ask him? I don't know.
Well, I think that the second one, you're considering the principal amount, and the first is not dealing with it at all. But I don't know why it matters. You know what I mean?
Well, for this question, for right now, for the test, I want you to be able to do this right here. Okay? I want you to be able to use this formula, and I want you to be able to use this formula. And between now and tomorrow, I will try to figure out if there's another APY to do with continuous. Okay? Is that a deal? I'll try to figure it out. But I am not proficient in business math to know the difference between an APY. It looks like to me that I would plug in the numbers that they give me. But I may be looking at the question totally different. It looks like to me that y'all are reading it that this is one part of the question right here and this is another part. Okay, I'll check it out and I'll get back with you tomorrow on it. Because that's all I can do. I'm not going to make up something. That wouldn't help y'all at all. Okay, who's got other questions beside this one? Because I'm going to do this one again tomorrow. Who's got other questions on anything in Unit 1? And I'll have this one for you tomorrow. Did that help you going over besides this one? Did that help your questions? And anybody got any other questions?
Homework due Thursday night?
Probably I will post a test today. So I would like to see the homework due probably, let's see, I think it's due right now, midnight tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's pretty fair. Since I should turn it off before I do the test, but I'm going to give y'all another 24 hours to do it. Okay, you'll have 5 days to take the test. The forms of the test, there'll be 3, Form A, Form B, Form C. Each one gets a little bit more difficult. All right? That's something I started doing last semester. Try to make these people happy about the in-class test versus the online test. So chances are the Form B will have 2 or 3 more questions. Form C will have 2 or 3 more questions than Form B. All right, or it'll be harder questions, one of the two. All right. The reason I do that is to make it a little bit more challenging versus taking the same form over and over and over.
So you get 3 chances and each one is harder?
Mm-hmm. It's a little bit harder, maybe 1 or 2 questions. No. If you make 100 on the first one, no, you don't have to take the second or third one. Please don't do that. If you make whatever your approval is. In other words, if you make a 78 on the first test and you're happy with a 78, then you don't have to take the other 2. Yes, ma'am.
Do you take the 2? Does it take number?
It takes the highest of the 3, yes. Okay? It says that on that sheet. Look at the sheet that says things you will be graded on. It tells you all about the test. Okay? All right. 1. I need to turn off the do jigger. Hold on.
Can you stop and come back?